Hi friends. So today you are going to be working on creating equivalent expressions. And before we get too far into it, I just want you guys to think, what does the word equivalent sound like? Equivalent. You should think of the word equal, okay? So we're going to be creating equal expressions, and just a reminder, expressions, another word for expressions another word that starts with a P is problem. So we're going to be creating equal problems today. All right. So I have a couple of vocabulary words here. So our first one is equivalent expression. They are expressions that are equal to each other. So we're making two problems that are equal to each other. The way that you do that is you first find two like terms and you combine them. All right. Then you're going to rewrite the expression with the combined like terms. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of what that's going to look like. That's the first half of your assignment. The second part of your assignment is you're going to be using the distributive property. So the distributive property, it's when you multiply the number outside the parentheses by the number inside the parentheses. This has been on stage quite a bit, and I have had a lot of students ask me about it. And so today, make sure you guys are really paying attention when we talk about the distributive property. Okay? So like I said, sorry, it's really blurry, guys. So like I said, we're going to be creating equivalent expressions. So I have an expression right here. It's 7h minus 3h. The h in here, it makes the it makes the terms equivalent because they're h's. So we're going to combine them. So 7h minus 3h is going to equal 4h. So that should make sense. When you guys look at it, you should be able to see there are the two terms that are the same, okay? There will be times in your assignment where you're going to get to come across terms that are not the same. So let me show you what that's going to look like. Okay, so here's our next problem right here. I have 2 plus 3L plus 5 plus 4L. So I have some like terms in here. So I think that everyone really easily can see the 3L and the 4L. Those are two like terms because they have L as a variable. But sometimes what students forget is that whole numbers, just numbers by themselves, they're like terms as well. So the 2 and the 5, those are also like terms. So what I did was I rewrote it. I rewrote it with my terms closer to each other. So I have 2 plus 5 plus 3L plus 4L. And so I'm going to combine all of my like terms. I'm still not done yet. And have a new expression. So it's going to be 7 plus 7L. So 2 plus 5 is 7, and 3L plus 4L is 7L. All right, so when you guys are working on your assignment today, make sure that you are looking for all like terms and combining them. If you guys look at my notes, you can see that I underline them or put squiggles under them when there are multiple like terms, so that way I can see the difference between them. Please make sure that you guys are identifying what my like terms are. If you can't find your like terms, you're going to have a really hard time with this assignment. And then don't be tricked as well. On your assignment today, you might have something that looks similar. You might have something that looks similar to this. There's 9c to the second power plus 4c minus 1c. So you can notice, you can see that there are all c's here, but there is a difference. This c is c to the second power, and this one is just c. There is a difference between them, and so you actually can't combine those terms. You can only combine your two like terms. So my two like terms here are 4c and 1c, and you can see, I'm using the word c a lot, sorry. You can see that I have a negative sign or a subtraction sign here. So I'm going to solve my problem as 4c minus 1c, and I'm going to keep 9c to the second power. So my answer is going to be 9c to the second power plus 3c. Then you can see all of it. So I'm creating equal problems. It's not I'm not necessarily solving it. I'm just creating an equal problem. Please make sure that when you guys are writing these out, that you are combining all like terms. That's kind of what the whole point of what we're doing today. So the first part of your assignment is going to be creating equivalent expressions. Okay. So with the equivalent expressions, just follow the two steps, find your like terms and combine them. And then finally your second step, it's going to be rewrite the expression with combined like terms. So the second part of your assignment is working with a distributive property. And the distributive property, that's another way to create an equivalent expression. And so on Sage, I know that there was a question like this, and I know on your homework you've had a similar question. In your math journal, I need you guys to leave a spot where you actually write the word distributive property. And here's my first problem that I'm working with, okay? It's 3m plus 7. I had a student last year who called the distributive property the rainbow thingy, because you can see that I kind of made a little bit of a rainbow thingy. I'm going to distribute my 3 into my parentheses where my m is and my 7. When you do this, the parentheses, it actually means multiplication. So I'm going to read this as 3 times m and 3 times 7. I'm going to keep my addition sign here. So I have a new problem, and it's going to be written as 3m plus 21. You can see where I got my answers from. So 3 times m is 3m, and 3 times 7 is 21. So that's what the distributor property is. You're going to have a few problems today where you're going to get to use the distributor property and you're going to get to make the rainbow thing. The second part working with the distributor property, it's kind of like the opposite of the distributor property, okay? So you can see that I have my numbers here. I have 4m plus 8. I'm going to do the opposite of the distributor property, and I'm going to look at this and say, what numbers can I pull out of 4 and 8 and put outside of the parentheses, kind of like in this spot right here. So what numbers can I pull out of 4 and 8? The parentheses, so it means that we're multiplying. So when we are undoing the distributor property, then we need to do the opposite of multiplying, and the opposite of multiplying is, did you say it? It should be division, okay? So I'm going to say what goes into both 4 and 8. Well, this actually has a couple of possibilities. So my first choice was 2. So I'm going to take 2 and put it on the outside of my parentheses, and I'm going to say 4 divided by 2 is going to leave me with 2m. I need to make sure that I include my variable here. And then I need to have 8 and then divide it by 2, and 8 divided by 2 equals 4. And so I put that inside of my parentheses. So there's one possible answer right here. So it's 4m plus 8, and then when we're using the distributive property, an equivalent expression, an equal problem will be 2 parentheses 2m plus 4. So that's one way of doing it. But then there's a second possibility, and that's right here. I can also take 4 out of both 4 and 8. If I do that, then I'm going to have 4 outside of my parentheses. 4m divided by 4 is going to leave me with just m. And then I'm going to keep my addition sign, and then 8 divided by 4 is going to leave me with 2. So that's the distributive property, and you guys are going to get to work on that as well today. Please make sure that as you're working on it that you are using the rainbow thing to show your work. So that way I know that you are distributing the 3 to both places inside of the parentheses. When you are undoing the distributive property and taking it apart, make sure that your answer has parentheses on it. Today, as you are working, it shouldn't be a hard assignment. Just make sure that you guys are really looking for like terms. If you have a like term, underline it so you know what you're working with. You'll notice that in this situation, 7h minus 3h, there's a negative here. I'm subtracting my 2 terms. And then here, I'm adding my terms. So just make sure that you do whatever the sign says you're going to do that's in front of the term. So your assignment today is going to be 7.8, the whole front page. You're going to do awesome. Good luck with it. I miss your faces. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.